So,
Great.
welcome to Northern Powerhouses, our business success stories series of interviews where we discuss with local business leaders their background, their successes, and their challenges, and what's really driving them forwards. And this afternoon, I'm delighted that we have with us Thomas Nadin, who's co-founder and technical director at Few and Far. So, Thomas, firstly, thanks for spending a bit of time with us. If you'd like to introduce yourself and Few and Far, what you do and how you help people, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Thomas Nadin, co-founder, as Chris mentioned, and technical director of Few and Far. And Few and Far is a creative studio where we help charities help people. We make brands, websites, online storytelling pieces, and really help plug the gap, which is the digital expertise of the third sector. Um,
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. And how long have you been operating so far, Thomas?
We've been operating for 5, going on 6 years, like one whole pandemic, you might call it. And we started commercial, but as for the stuff that we're doing in the third sector, it's been the last like 3, 4 years now.
Brilliant, brilliant. And so you've sort of focused in on the niche or the particular area of and what sort of led you to do that?
I think it was surviving the pandemic and having a real crisis of purpose. We started doing commercial work, and it was just like, demonstrating that you can trust us. We'd worked at various places before, which no doubt we'll get into, but yeah, through some coaching we went on and reflecting back on our own lives and the stuff that we'd done together, and also looking at the stuff that we kind of like set in stone about what we want to achieve by creating the business. Like we weren't
Yeah.
doing it. And yeah, finding out that some of the work that we'd done had helped St. George's Crypt, which is based in Leeds.
Yes.
Um, it had pretty much like 5 times increased their online donations. Um, so we were just like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
So we helped our partners who we had at the time find other providers who would be able to give them more attention and be a better suit for them, because
Yeah.
we were wanting to focus in the third sector. So we helped pretty much everybody we worked with find another business in Leeds actually that could support them. And then that gave us more headspace to, yeah, focus on the third sector.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So if we maybe start, if you could tell us a little bit more about your background, how you got into business, and you've explained a little bit, but why this particular one?
Well, it's funny because I I remember at uni. So my background is I'm a software engineer. So
Yeah.
I went to university, but I've been doing it since I was like 13.
Great.
Started making like comics for my school and needed a place to put them online. So that's how I got into it. But I remember at uni specifically thinking when we were talking about careers and what you want to do with your degree, and I wrote down be a cog in the machine. Like I didn't have a particular post that I wanted to hold. I just wanted
Yeah.
to be able to be part of like, the leverage of
Make it happen.
making something interesting.
Yeah.
So in my early career, I made train station software. So some of the, no doubt yourself and listeners will have got home on trains where the signage was made by myself. Um, and yeah, like that sort of stuff I still get a kick out of it because I'm like seeing the real world benefit of it. Um, so I worked at various agencies, for a number of years, and then Cole approached me, my business partner. Yeah, he gave me a 170-page presentation about why I should quit my job and start a business with him. So yeah, it was convincing, if nothing else. But yeah, one of the like the founding tenets of that document was he wanted to leave a mark, and that
Yeah.
kind of inspired me.
Yes.
And that's what I meant by we kind of lost our way where we weren't doing that,
Yeah.
and then revealing that we were doing it, we just weren't focused on it. So yeah, that's how we started,
Brilliant.
and that's how we started Feeling Fire. Yeah.
Brilliant. I'm guessing you've read the book Start With Why from Simon Sinek,
Yes, yeah,
which is a very
and yeah, Leaders Eat Last, and a lot of his other books as well.
yeah. I mean, it really is a very powerful reason to be, to put purpose forward, isn't it? The why, it
It
starts with the why, and everything leads from that.
it's very funny because in the way I've described it to a lot of people, I didn't have or at least what I've heard from other people, they struggled with the fact that they didn't have a why.
Yeah.
And it didn't for me. I'm very, very fortunate that I really enjoy my vocation, like the actual
Yeah,
typing on the keyboard. I
yeah,
quite like that. And it never left a hole in me. And the way I've described it to others since is in doing this and finding that the work I do is genuinely helping not just the individuals that work at the business, at the charities, but the people that they help. It's like filled a gap that wasn't there. It's like yeah, something retroactively I felt it, I guess.
yes, yeah. No, it's really really interesting. So I mean, you said you'd always put this idea of being the cog, but when you were growing up, did you have a particular vocation I identified, or software engineering as an example? Was that something you always wanted to do, or
Yeah, yeah. I don't ever have certainly from being like I say 13 first learning to program, like I've not had any other thought about what I should do. Like it was just I'm good at this and I enjoy it.
really?
Like how lovely, like and how fortunate I genuinely do feel about that. So yeah, it's always been that and where I felt I would sit, I originally thought I would work in like a software house where we, you know, it's big teams and
Yeah,
it's more of a there is a production, it's more like industrial. And then that throughout my career, I felt that, you know, there was an element of it that I was missing, which was like the personability, like things like this. It's lovely to speak with others. So I moved to a marketing agency to be a
yeah,
developer there. And then found like I was something wasn't right there. So I moved to a smaller team. So there's like 200 people, searched for a smaller, which was 40, and then eventually, you know, made my own.
brilliant. And so as you've grown the business, what are some of the biggest issues you've had to overcome?
Issues
Yeah,
have
challenges.
been,
Yeah,
yeah, certainly learning to say no.
great.
And the power that saying no actually gives you. It gives you time to say yes, I guess. And when we first started, when we were doing commercial work and we didn't really have a really good reason to exist, I guess, like looking back on it, it's hard to say no because you don't know where the next bit of work's going to come from.
Yeah,
Um,
yes,
Once we had something where we genuinely felt like it's not just we felt we could, we believe we can actually help people. It stopped feeling like sales and it feels like
yeah,
I am fighting because I really want you to make the right decision. And in that case, if I don't feel like they're going to do it, I can say no now quite
yeah,
comfortably because I'm like, I don't think I can help you.
yeah. Yeah, makes absolute sense, and it's that sort of fear of loss, isn't it? It's you've got
Yeah.
you if we've got to get this deal in, we've got to get this in. But when you start to be clear on what's the most important thing to yourself, potentially to the clients, then you get the matches, and we create a very virtuous circle of everybody's enjoying what they're doing, everyone's seeing the value in what they're doing. Um, Fabulous. And in terms of growing a business, what are some of the things you've learned? A key aspects of learning to grow a business.
Um, I think being being polarizing has really been valuable. Pushing people away that you don't think you're going to work with, so you don't
Yeah,
have to deal with that, and then hyper resonating with the people that just go, "Gosh, I just what they're doing,
yeah,
I want I want part of our future." That's made that really motivating to keep working because when you do
yes,
connect, when you do resonate with people, it's like, oh, this is working. It's really good. And find having a why has done that.
yeah.
Talking about ourselves a lot.
I find it really interesting that lots of organizations have often have a purpose, often have values, but they don't
Okay.
they're internal and external,
Yeah.
and yet my belief is that an effective marketing strategy starts with your purpose, your vision, your values, and your purpose, and that's how you get the match of values with both your team members that you recruit, the customers that we work with. If there's that match of values, then everything seems to fit way better.
Yep. Yeah. It simply has, and yeah, it helps like the balance sheet obviously, but it helps like the team. So we're no longer the co-founders and staff. So we are still the co-founders, but we're no longer just us. So we've got employees now, and
Yep.
it's been, I think it's quite hard to hire at the moment in general in the for a developer, but having a reason about why we exist
Yeah.
has been something to help filter that. And it's meant the people that are genuinely interested in being part of that have come to us. So not just for clients, but also for acquisition of talent as well.
Yeah, 100%. It's both our team and the clients. In fact, a lot of work I'm doing with clients at the moment is this idea that, for years people have had a client attraction and retention budget and activities, marketing, client service, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, we need exactly the same level of effort in terms of attracting and keeping team members, because it is, as you said earlier, it is quite difficult to find them and to keep them. So it's like absolutely vital.
Yeah.
So you mentioned obviously coaching. You said you've been coaching before, and we were coaching organisations. So I'm keen to know who the best coaches you've worked with, whether that's business, sport, life in general. Who are your biggest influences?
We've had some just general business coaches that have been incredible for supporting us. So ones that work worldwide, but like Matt Essam was one, and um, Matt Saunders, and as well as other coaches that they work with. They're certainly Leeds based that I've dealt with. But I think just in general, the ones that got me to think and challenge, like a lot of the coaching that I can still like close my eyes and like ask the questions that I was asked, and they're
Yeah.
still relevant, even though my problems might have changed. It's like, yeah, the ones that have been able to help me challenge my own assumptions, because then that is, I mean, everything ends up becoming coaching at that point. Then I end up doing that with my clients as well.
Yes.
But yeah, it's helped with my mental health as well, like all of that. Like, weirdly, I was paying for like business coaching, but I'm actually like getting personal value out of it, which was great.
Yes.
So they're the ones that have been super, super beneficial to me.
Brilliant, brilliant. And have you picked up and on the way any favourite quotes or sayings that you use about business or success or life in general?
I think it's that certainly for the way we should operate is that like B2B is kind of a bit of a misnomer. It's still like person to person.
Great point.
Um,
Yeah,
the business might exist, but it's still individuals making the decisions, and you need to get their buy-in and like be able to do that. So we've certainly shifted the way that we operate as a business, which is we aren't selling, we're just helping. And I think we're fortunate in that we work in the third sector, so that is it's very translatable to their uh, language set anyway. But
yes,
I think if I was working in a commercial setting again in the future, it would be from a place of service. Like I think I can help your business, and I'm going to give you as much free support as I can so that you think I am a good fit to help you when your challenge gets harder.
yeah,
Um, Everything we've ever given, we've received in a greater sum back. So,
mm,
um, yeah, so I mean, it's quite nourishing anyway on a personal level to do that for the third sector, but we give out a lot. We do a lot of volunteering, so we do hundreds of hours of volunteering for the business, and that ends up becoming like lead generation anyway because we're just trying to help, and we don't discriminate on the sense of oh we're not going to help that organization because they've only got like 50K revenue and we work in much higher like million to 10 million revenue. So it doesn't matter to us. People move jobs.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Brilliant. And what would you say you've learned about yourself throughout your career and your journey so far?
I've learned that I really enjoy solving solving a problem that people are facing. And I've learned that in two distinct ways. From a business perspective, it's helped me then repositioning why we're helpful, because then it's meant that it's not you getting a website from us. It's helped me have the power to say no, because I'm like, no, we are good at helping you solve problems. And if you don't tell us what your problem is, I can't tell you if the website is a good fix for that.
Yes.
So learning that before, I was really interested in the problem solving, which was I thought was the website generation, but it isn't. It's a means to an end. So that's in one facet. I then also learned in my personal life through all this that I do it at home, and it's helped my relationship with my wife and family, because it shouldn't be about just come into it with, I really want to solve the problem. And it's about like, well, what problem do you have before I make that decision about what I think that is? Um, so yeah, that's been very
Brilliant.
valuable.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's fascinating. And I mean, it's funny. So, I was trained as a software engineer. That's where I started too. And I always loved that idea of, and I guess that's where the coaching comes to start with. Always loved the idea of helping other people work their way through challenges in
Mm.
the code they're writing or whatever, but getting them to talk themselves through it, and then they find their own
Yeah.
solution. Oh yeah, I missed that bit, and that makes sense. So obviously you're 6 years in, I think you said,
Yeah.
and you've grown, you built a team, which is wonderful, and you're probably familiar with the stats of success and unfortunate failure of businesses, but 80% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. So to
Yeah.
have got to where you are, you're in the top 20% of businesses in general, which is great to see.
Yeah, lovely to hear.
It's great. Unfortunately it still gets pretty hard for the next 5 years, but that's we'll leave to that one. But looking forward now with the growth that you've had and the plans that you've got, what does the future look like for you guys, and what are the main challenges you think you might face, if any?
Um, so the future for us is, well, starting at the present, this is like the best we've ever done. So like
Brilliant.
switching to the third sector, our revenue actually increased because we had a problem we could solve for people.
Yep.
And then, yeah, year on year, our revenue's gone up. So now, when we started the business, we always spoke about everywhere we'd ever worked. I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of like humans pretty much after about 10, 15 people, I think the number might be 13, end up developing sub cliques.
Yes.
So even if you work in a tight team of 20 people, there will be two distinct cliques,
Yeah.
maybe one larger than the other. And information is not as passed through those barriers as quickly. And we want the business to be something where you work with us and we become a extension of the organization and we
Yep.
become your digital guardians. And we don't believe we can do that if you end up having layers of communication to the people doing the work. So we always had like a hard limit of 13. There won't be more. So yeah, looking for the next few years of how we go from, we're at 4 now, and I think in the next 5 years, I think we'd like to be at 8, if not 10.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of how we're doing that. Working with more and more organizations through coaching and what other stuff, rather than just working with whoever wants to work with us. We productized a lot of the stuff we do, so it
Yep.
makes it quite easy to go, well, these are the way we work. If you think one of them will help you,
Yep.
I'm more than happy to talk about it. So that's giving us steady, predictable
Yeah.
cash flow, I guess, in that sense.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And what would you say to anyone that was thinking of going to business right now, Thomas?
Um, Doing something you enjoy will give you the energy to keep doing it,
Yep.
but that doesn't necessarily means that has to be the thing that you focus your whole attention on. And solving someone's problem is the thing that will make them give you money. So if you can find that cross section between what you do and you love um, and what will actually pay bills, great. If you can't, the way you can probably do that is by asking the people you want to work with what it is that they are struggling with.
Yep.
Don't assume. And
Yes.
often as well, if you have helped somebody and they found you valuable and like what you did, and you feel that you could have a business around this,
Yep.
don't use your own words to talk about how you in marketing speak help people. Use their words verbatim, because other businesses will be thinking will have those same challenges, and the way in which you help them and that actually motivate them enough to pay your invoice is probably what's on the minds of other people.
Yeah.
So if you've struck gold once or you've resonated once with a way of working, like ask yourself, could could other people be struggling with this, and could I help them?
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And if you started again, the business again, is there anything significant you think you might do differently?
If I knew I would be back here, I'd just do it quicker. I'd start working in the third sector quicker, but I think I've only got the motivation for that. Maybe not only got the motivation, but it is the way it is because of the failures we've made.
Yes.
So I guess in that, I wouldn't want to take away the failures unless I had the prior knowledge. But yeah. So
Yeah.
failure is good actually for anyone else starting a business. Failure is really good because it tells
100%.
you didn't waste time. If you fail fast, like you know that isn't gonna keep working. So
100%. I always remember our founder, a guy called Brad Triggers, telling me many years ago, and it was always clicked to in my mind because of how he said it. And he said he's as successful as he is because he's made more mistakes than anybody else he knew,
yeah,
not despite it. And it was that willingness to
yeah.
try things and accept mistakes as being part of success that was really interesting. And I think that's a really fascinating idea when in general, lots of people will not take action because they fear that failure and fear making mistake. Um, and finally, to us, what would be the best advice you could give an 18-year-old you if you could go back in time and do so?
Document your process. I think I think that's one regret I have. I've got lots of experiences that I don't still have that like uh proof of. So I through stories and with other people, I recall it. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I actually need to make a note of that. Because I feel like I have a lot of experience and I don't have that kind of like it was actually through coaching that we went back through our own personal experiences and it led to things that because I was this close to what was happening at the time, I wasn't aware of like the context for it.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, I've got some great learnings out of stuff that past me did, and it's only through conversations with other people. Whereas if I'd have purposefully made notes of all those things, which I now do because I have the business and we kind of document everything we do.
yep.
It's really great to see that and like our accomplishments and that it's really motivating to look back at that. Whereas I'm now just getting them as little like advent calendar opens whenever I meet up with old friends and stuff. But
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, wonderful. Um, well, Tosh, it's been really fascinating talking today, and and really it's really fascinating talking about purpose and those sorts
yeah,
of things, and the fact and working in the third sector being so important. And so thank you so much for your time. And for anybody watching or listening, if they'd like to contact you or your company, what would be the best way to do so?
you can go to fewandfar.co.uk and if you are a charity or a CIC, or you have one that you cherish and you feel that they would benefit from help. As I spoke about volunteering, we have a form on our website where you can fill it in, and we will give a um, basically free time and expertise to any and all charity. We do one a week. We
Brilliant,
said we'd do one a week, and then I think in the first year we committed to this, we did 62. So do the math.
brilliant.
That's not necessarily correct, but yeah, it's called the Impact Optimizer, and it's about helping that charity not understand what isn't working on their website, but why it isn't, so they don't keep making the same
Great.
mistake.
Wonderful. Thanks again. It'd be great to swing by another 6 to 12 months and just see how
Yeah, grand.
far you are to that doubling of team and doubling of what you do. And in the meantime, thanks so much for your time.
No worries. Thank you.